Well, guys, it's 3:44 a.m. Yeah, on August the 8th of 2021. I know, really early, but like I couldn't sleep. I mean, I did go to sleep, but like I woke up. So like, yeah. Bizarre thing was, I woke up and I obviously had my light off because yeah, I used to sleep with my light on because stuff, but like I had it off this time and I could have sworn that I saw a figure at the end of my bed, and then I turned the light, and like obviously it wasn't there. But like, Echo, man, Echo it does things to you. But I want to start this episode off with a little fan theory because like when Adastra was coming out, Echo was still coming out, and like we didn't really have any we had some leads about what the fuck could be causing the curse in Echo, but not many. Like I originally thought my head canon was it was some kind of like Masada legend or something. And maybe that's why the Masada avoided it, like it shows in the smoke room. They have this giant circle surrounding Echo where there's no where the Masada don't put their giant bonfires. They don't have those in the circle, which is really interesting because it's the motif. It's always you're only going in circles. Which is really interesting because the shape that the Masada don't go in is a circle. Heh, intriguing. But like anyway, there was an episode with Adastra where the concept of the other was introduced. Basically, a type of life form that isn't like us, that isn't like any other life form in the known galaxy, in the known universe. And it's supposedly advancing towards Dastra over the course of billions of years, though. And it's hinted at, it's explicitly stated actually, that the other is this entity that feeds on the fears and psychological issues of its victims. And it in particular goes after those who are mentally ill. And wouldn't you say basically all of these dudes, all six of these guys are mentally ill? Wouldn't you say that? Yeah. So, not only that, but like it affects the entirety of Echo. So, in my opinion, maybe. I mean, technically, the writer of this, George, has said that it's not a thing that Echo takes place on Earth and it's not in the Adastra universe essentially. But like that just opens up a whole other can of worms because in my opinion, what if the other is some kind of an interdimensional thing? Because I don't know, it's really interesting to imagine that. But then if you follow that line of logic, you start to realize the similarities between the Echo entity and it. Both of them are like interdimensional creatures, essentially. They're probably from around before the beginning of the universe, and they feed on fear. And they both haunt a small town. So, that's interesting, I have to say. But that's enough theorizing. Let's just jump into this. Good God. After the smoke room scene, I'm honestly not ready. But I have to be now. Okay, so basically, I know why the smoke room scene in particular fucks me up so much. Because everyone has a different reaction to this game. The main one being fear, obviously, but everyone has different scenes that get under their skin more than others. The reason that smoke room gets under my skin the most in this, well, not really, but like it's one of the moments that gets under my skin the most, is because personally, me being gay, like I didn't find out, like I didn't really come to terms with that until I was 16 years old. And because of that, there are some issues that I have in my psyche about gayness, you know? Like, the fact that eventually I might have sex with other dudes. Really disconcerting to me because I wouldn't even know how to start that shit. Not to mention, like, I have so much trust issues because of stuff that, like, yeah. Not to mention the entire concept of sex in general just disgusts me beyond belief. Like, I can do it, I can do role play, I can look at porn and everything, but like, when it comes to the actual thought of doing it, it's so viscerally disgusting to me, I can't even tell you. Um, yeah, that pretty much explains it. And then you mix in the fucking supernatural hijinks with the Cholpa, and you're just like, oh, hello. Perfect combination to make me shit myself. Anyway, let's get into this. I bring the tripod back over my shoulder, wincing some as the metal pushes against my collarbone. There wasn't really much left of the old post office, but I thought that the city hall was the old post, whatever. But getting some B-roll of it seemed obligatory with the Pony Express history here and such. What? As long as I have lots of filler footage to accompany my voiceover, I should be fine. I think it'll probably look a lot better than most of what the rest of the class will present. Though that's not very high bar to surpass. Most probably wouldn't dare to work over their spring break. Yes, of course. So, why the hell am I? I close my eyes, let my legs lead the way as I step through the tall grass and back onto the dirt road. You know, no, I'm not gonna say anything. That's for Leo's route. I shouldn't say anything. It's hot today, way hotter than it usually is in late spring. Everything is kind of hazy too, like there's wildfire air blowing downwind through Echo. That's weird. Those usually drive my allergies nuts, but so far I am not feeling too stuffed up or itchy. You have allergies? Huh. Interesting. I mean, I think I'm allergic to pine pollen, which sucks living in the South like I am, but like, yeah. You're wondering why I don't have a Southern accent. I mean, I lived up north for most of my young life, so that would explain it. As screwed up as it sounds, I always kind of liked when there was a big fire in the city. What the fuck, Chase? I mean, sure, it sucks sneezing all the time and having my nose feel itchy, but I love the burning smell. It reminds me of barbecue. Well, there is a barbecue of sorts going on, but not the one you're thinking of. It doesn't smell like that now, though. That does remind me. I pull up my phone. It's 10:03 a.m. Jenna texted earlier. Oh my god. The old Jenna Sprite. Wait, no, that's not the old Jenna Sprite. Oh, damn. That. Chase, Leo wants to set up his grill at the hill behind your house around early afternoon, I think. If you want to stop by, you can. When we were kids, sometimes my dad would let us roll our little charcoal grill up there and try cooking ourselves. My dad always said it was to keep a wide buffer between us and the house so we didn't accidentally burn the place down. After Flynn set a bush on fire in our backyard during Labor Day, I kind of understood the sentiment. I exhale, shoving my phone back in my pocket. Interesting, Leo decided to schedule it while Flynn is working. I wonder. I bring my thumb and forefinger by my muzzle and press it in the space between my eyes. I sniff, smelling the faint scent of musty ash that seems to cling to my fur even after the shower I took this morning. Oh, right. Right at the smoke room. And just like that, my blood seems to Why would you fucking... I get that weird stuttering feeling you have in your heart when you remember something you don't want to. Don't, buddy, don't. Last night doesn't seem real. It was surreal, wasn't it? I can't believe shit like that exists just past where I grew up. How long has that place been around? It doesn't even have a name. Bruh. Really? You can't believe that something like that was around Echo. I think it goes without saying that Echo would have something like that. I searched the address some more when I got home, but I didn't find anything online. When you got home? What do you mean? You mean the motel? It's not home. I mean, I've been in gay bars before in Peyton, usually because there's some girl I'm friends with that drags me there. But nothing quite like that. I would imagine. I would imagine there wouldn't be a bunch of middle-aged men fucking natives, you know? Like, I wouldn't imagine that that would be a thing. At least Daxton seemed not to hate it completely by the time we left. Turns out the middle-aged horse guy was an old dastardly, the term for people who really like Adastra. Dax and him hit it off pretty well. I was away. Carl, meanwhile, was already passed out in my car by the time we got back. It was an awkward car ride home. Yeah, I would imagine. A strange sense of sad nostalgia takes hold of me when I approach the faded, white, old brick structure that was my home. The white picket fence that surrounded the exterior is all but gone now. The few remaining posts are scattered all over the yard, some half buried in the loose, barren topsoil. You know, part of me would really love to go and visit my old childhood home. You know, I was all over the place because I was born down here in Georgia in Newnan, and then my parents moved up to Ohio, Cincinnati, and they went to Newton Falls, where I think my sister was born, and we moved over to Whitewater, Wisconsin, then down to somewhere near St. Louis, in Missouri, and then up to Madison, Wisconsin, and then we're back here. And then we were in one house down in Georgia, and we moved to another one because of the divorce, and then we moved up here into Dallas. Yeah, I would love to go and see what the one in Madison looks like, because I have the most memories of that one in particular. I remember Dad always made me paint it every summer, and I'd pitch a huge fit because I hated it. Working at 110-degree temperatures with scratchy bramble getting stuck in my pads, not to mention the dirt in the paintbrush. Dad never was how it turned out anyway. He yelled at me for laziness and doing a poor job. He claimed I had no aptitude for work, first placing the blame on me playing too many video games. Then Leo. People are supposed to have a sense of satisfaction in their work, but every moment away from an escapist diversion seemed to make me miserable. I'd coop myself up in my room with a big-ass plug-in fan, watching TV, daydreaming about fictional guys and eating just an absurd amount of cereal. I sigh as I walk over an old plot where Mom's garden used to be. According to City Hall, this place is abandoned and condemned now. I step up to the window of my old bedroom, squinting through the dusty glass and spying the familiar turquoise shag carpet and say, ew. All the furniture is gone and spiderwebs hang from every corner. There's some graffiti on the wall as well, a gang sign that looks like a crooked red number 8. Seeing it, I'm left with a feeling of unease, like the sanctity of what was once mine has been taken away. I don't exactly pine for the days of being stuck in there, but there's this overwhelming pain of awareness that those times have passed and are never coming back. Fuck you! Fuck you! No, stop! The worries I had growing up are gone and replaced by these visceral, very adult concerns about money, jobs, debt. And I'll never have a group of friends like I did back then. A sharp whistle breaks my train of thought. I spin around to see the silhouette of two figures up on the hill overlooking the house. Leo and Jenna. After a moment, TJ walks up next to them and waves. Hi, Chase! I whip my paw up, offering a limp wave in return. Next thing I know, TJ's making his way down the slope, Leo right behind him. Jenna follows shortly after. Great. Great, Miss Skinny, you've managed to actually get me genuinely nostalgic and sad over my fucking... Don't fucking cry, dude. It's not that big a deal. Chase, it's good to see you again. The lynx looks tired, all things considered. The tips of his fur tinged with the orangish dirt of the area. Orange? Oh, they're like in Utah area. Here in Georgia, the soil's like red, so it's interesting. Still, he's beaming at me regardless. It's good to see you too, actually. TJ cocks his head. Actually? I blink. Yeah, what do you mean by that, Otter? Leo was a stern voice, his eyes hard upon me. I mean, you know what I mean. Smirk appears at the edge of the wolf's muzzle, and he steps up to me, slinging my shoulder with a force to sting a bit. Well, astonishingly, it's good to see us well. I wince a bit from the blow. Leo reaches over and ruffles my head fur. Sorry. He grins a little awkwardly. He seems cheery overall. It's hard to believe he's the same Leo that just yesterday was hiding in a bathroom cupboard from. I try not to look too tense. Next time, hit him harder. Jenna gives me an edged look, though there's warmth to her eyes. Yeah, I get it. You're a bitch, Jenna. You don't have to remind me. Jenna. She looks me over, then glances toward the road. I'm surprised you didn't drive. We found a picnic table in the yards of the abandoned houses. Set up over there. Points to the base of the hill slope, where sure enough an old wooden picnic table sits. And TJ was okay with this? The lynx frowns, digging his toes into the dirt. Well, as long as we put it back when we're done. You're becoming quite the rebel, TJ. I manage to smile at him. He looks slightly aghast, though Leo chuckles. We should put the hot dogs on the grill now. The bacon won't take as long. Jenna turns, making her way over to the table. Beside it is a green portable propane grill, like the sort used for camping trips. Top of the grill are couples of Ziploc bags. We're gonna grill up these fancy pepper jack hot dogs you got in Peyton. Some apple and smoked bacon. Okay. Sounds good. We even got some tofu dogs for collard, just like old times, yeah. I hope we've gotten better at cooking since then, but where's Carl? Leo shrugs, TJ chiming in. Maybe he slept in kind of early. For him, I mean. We make our way over toward Jenna. Leo's tail wags slightly as he walks. Yeah, I'm sure it does. I set my gear down and peer at the table. The thing is dirty as hell, probably over a decade of dust and weather etched from the wood and metal. I can't remember what neighbor this belonged to. Over the years, there were so many. Usually hippies or retirees seeking to get away from the hustle and bustle of urban and even suburban living. Most becoming rather disillusioned with the idea of Echo being some lovely desert escape after about a month of living here, though. I glance up at Leo. He looks back at me. He's taking the hot dogs out of the packaging and getting them set up on the grill. The wolf doesn't say anything, and neither do I. He keeps making the same faintly awkward smile whenever I look at him too long. TJ and Jenna sat down on the table and are digging through a weathered backpack. Jenna takes out some paper plates there in a small stack and weighing them down with a rock so they don't blow away. Yeah, that seems kind of unhygienic. I was literally just thinking that, TJ. Don't worry, we won't eat off that one. She looks up and over at me. I'll just give it to Chase. Oh, fuck off, Jenna. So, Chase decides to hang out with someone else and you're all fucking upset because, oh no, he hang out with the asshole Flynn, oh no. I sigh, furrow my brow some. Look, I'm sorry I've been around much this whole trip. I kinda regret it too. Really? The Fennec responds with a tone of feigned surprise. When we lock eyes, she seems to waver some. She crosses her arms over her tank top chest, looking down, then back up again. It's okay. It's been an interesting few days for us. I raise a brow inquisitively. Yeah, same here. Jenna smiles somewhat in an apologetic fashion and moved to sit next to her. TJ reaches into the bag and opens a few bottles of condiments to me. We got jalapeno ketchup, relish, spicy mustard, and a baggie of chopped onions. Sounds delicious, TJ. Yes, I know, it's a spice overload, but it was to appease Leo's iron palate. Hearing his name, Leo waves at us. You know, I read an article once that people who like spicy foods have masochistic tendencies. Jenna rolls her eyes, glancing to Leo, then back to me. Only you could confirm that in Leo's case. As for the article, yes, I've read that before. It's pop psychology based off surveyed statistics. What about me? Oh, right. One of Leo's ears flicks in our direction. She's just telling us about Chase was just telling us about your masochistic tendencies. Leo stops what he's doing, looking at us with slightly widened eyes. My what? Oh, God. I cover my face with my paw. I wouldn't say I'm into that. You should be talking about people behind their... You shouldn't be talking about people behind their back, Chula. You're not fucking dating. Stop with the Chulas. He says this teasingly, stretching out some aluminum foil on the grill and placing the strips of bacon on it. Someone should have told you that earlier. You've been talking about Chase non-stop this week. He stiffens some, then tries to laugh it off. What? Was just worrying about him, I mean. He looks to me. With Flynn being all unstable and shit. Oh, shut the fuck up, bitch. You're one to talk. You're one to talk about being unstable. TJ flinches at the swearing. I'm surprised the Lynx is unperturbed during the masochism talk. Maybe he doesn't know what that is. I run my arms apprehensively, peering at Jenna. What stirred stuff was he saying about me? Jenna looks in that wry way she does when she finds herself in a position of advantage over Leo. Leo looks at her anxious. Nothing bad, Otter. I bet my neck. Maybe it's best if you two find some time to talk alone today. The Fennec looks at Leo as if having delivered an act of supreme mercy. Leo, in turn, looks grateful, keenly aware he's become indebted by the act. Right, we were planning on that anyway, I think. Jenna just nods. Good. You won't need to stop distracting the cook here. Chase, can you... Past the sizzling of the grill, the clops of hooves and dirt become audible. TJ cranes his neck some to peer past Leo, then smiles. Carl! And, oh, hi. Yo. Hi. Carl immediately plops himself down on at the table across from me, the rat rubbing his eyes with his fists. Daxton, meanwhile, lingers at the end. His eyes are on me as if waiting for something. Hey, Daxton. I didn't know you were coming. Carl invited me. I wasn't really doing much else today. I put in a smile, but seeing the two just sort of reminds me of all of last night. Good to meet you. I'm Jenna. Jenna offers a quick nod. Meanwhile, TJ seems to bolt up, offering to paw to the tall salamander. Hi, I'm TJ. It's good to meet a friend of Carl's. Daxton looks a little surprised, shaking TJ's paw before looking back to me. He still has that same expectant expression in his face. Daxton? Flynn's roommate, right? Leo strolls up beside him, spatula in grasp. I'm said roommate, yeah. Wait, you look familiar? Leo squints. You the Vespa guy? Daxton looks back toward the road. Yeah, I drive a Vespa. Why? Leo lets out a humored noise, rubbing his brow with his free paw as he grins. You came to my dad's shop at all with the oil leak in that thing. Daxton blinks in realization. Oh, well, Vera's auto up at Dayton. Yeah, I went there. That thing was a damn nightmare. At first I thought you were just using the wrong type of oil, since that's the most common reason. People don't know they got to use motorcycle oil, which allows transmission, gears, valves, and all that. Plus it's less thick. But the thing was still leaking. So next I drained the overflow tube in the airbox and troubleshoot. What the fuck are you talking about, bitch? Took about 2 hours until I figured out that it had to do with the piston rings being worn out. Problem is, your little ride's a damn special overseas import, yeah. There's no place that has a replacement part you need for that for at least 7,000 miles. I heard it from my uncle in the old country. I guess that's why it took so long. Yeah, I can't say I ever worked on a machine like that prior to you, so thanks for the experience. Like I was saying, my dad owns that place. I'm Leo Veras. Leo extends out a paw, though with less gusto than TJ. Leo... I see Daxton's gaze flick to me, his lips point a bit tighter on his smooth face. Takes the paw, shaking it. Leo perks a brow. Judging by the look in your face, you heard of me. A wee bit. Oh, good, I hope. Leo smiles lopsidedly. Not really, but whatever. The response elicits a collective irk from most of us. The salamander withdraws his hand and Leo looks a little gobsmacked. Your roommate's Flynn, so I guess it's to be expected. Daxton shrugs and moves to the table next to me. Chase, if you got a minute, could we talk later? Sure. The salamander looks grateful but doesn't elaborate further. Liam, meanwhile, stands there rotating the spatula in his paw with his eyes in the dirt. After a moment, he turns, heading back to the girl with an expression in his face that I can't quite make out. Jenna props her chin up with her paw, smiling faintly at Daxton. Wow. What? Nothing, just musing out loud. Where are you from, Daxton? Salamander rests his paws on the table, rubbing his thumbs together. Yeah, I've been living in Echo for a year or two. Before that, I was in Colville, where I grew up. Jenna stopped, smiling. Colville? Really? What's wrong with Colville? Everything, dude. Colville, isn't that the place with the lampposts that had little cowboy hats on top of them? Oh yeah, they had the cobblestone streets there. I went for a field trip once. That place is too rich, even for me. They put up those creepy, smiling native mannequins on the sidewalks as decoration. Like it isn't grossly offensive noting its history. Oh, fucking hell. Really? So, I don't really care, Jenna. I don't really care. Oh yeah, they shot that one big Western film there. The one with the Jack Gillahu searching for some family's daughter that got abducted by Minnesota. The town sort of wrote off the fame of that movie for the past 4 years, what it seems like. Okay, so just because they shot a movie where the Minnesota were the bad guys means it's offensive? What? What kind of backward logic is this? Daxton looked at all of us, crossing his arms tightly over his chest. It hasn't been doing as well as it used to. Westerns aren't exactly as big as they used to be. It's kind of a shame that. It's not really a surprise knowing how tasteless most of them were. Carl sits in his seat a bit awkwardly. TJ speaks up. Speaking of Old West stuff, how was the project, Chase? Leo says you could hang out with us because you were working on it. Jenna reaches into the backpack, pulls out a notebook, laying it out in front of her. We were bored at the motel, so we did some research ourselves. If you want to discuss your findings, that is. I feel it'll put on the spot, mainly since most of what I've done so far has been shooting B-roll. Apparently my house used to be a castle. A castle? Yeah, I looked up Carl's house at City Hall. The records show this big medieval-looking place. There was some sort of collapse in 1915. Living in a castle would be pretty cool. Not that I need more space, but you get what I mean. House Hendricks, the Lord of Echo. Oh my god. I would watch that show. Would probably have too much sex and violence for you, man. I'd surely doubt there would be much of the former with you on it. Carl did a little snigger over drifting his gaze at the sizzling grill nearby. Even Daxton seems to smirk a bit. If you say so. Gina seems to flinch at the lewd talk, and Jenna quickly shifts her tone. Continue, Chase. Well, that's the thing. Carl's ancestors founded the town, but I think Flynn's family are the ones who mainly controlled it during the 20th century. There's tons of more named on the records for leadership positions. We were too busy making ice cream, I guess. Speaking of, I'm starving. How much longer, man? He calls out to Leo, the wolf looking over his shoulder. Unless you want your hot dogs medium rare, just a little longer, yeah? Gonna waves off the boys' banter, speaking to me again. That's strange, knowing Flynn's species. Reptilians weren't rarely trusted by the majority society in this country until relatively recently. I shrug. I'm not sure whether it's relevant to what I'm trying to cover. I mean, I haven't been able to find anything about the initial 1877 hysteria incident. 1877. Okay, so yeah. That obviously, it was already confirmed by the smoke room, but 1915 was not the reverse hysteria. It's like all those files are just gone. I paused from my lower lip to remember something. There are some legal documents I found, concerning the mine. I don't know, but go on. There is mention of some sort of messed up murder happening in the mine in 1915 that somehow resulted in a riot. No mention was made of the 1977 hysteria event, though. Jenna pulled her notes up, her eyes bouncing left and right as she speed reads. It wasn't really a murder if he was acting in self-defense. But y'all don't know that. You couldn't know that. That's interesting. You mentioned that year earlier, 1915. Census records show there was a large drop of population between 1910 and 1920. I couldn't find any economic justification for it since the mine continued to operate and the railroad line still serviced Echo. Daxton holds up his hand. So sorry, I'm trying to catch up with what you guys are trying to figure out here. Are you saying that these mine murders caused Echo to lose all of its people? Correlations do not imply causation, but this is a journalism piece, not an academic paper. Being interesting is more important than being thorough. At least these days. Your piece should be called Top 10 Reasons Echo Depopulated from Evil Mine Murder. You won't believe reason number 2. No, it wasn't evil. It wasn't a murder. Like, throw some boobs up on the thumbnail image and post it on the Pueblo website. I frown. I'm used to hearing how the internet age has made modern journalism sort of a joke now, but it still stings. This isn't for the website or anything, this is just a class project. And it matters even less, dude. You're not even getting paid. Hell, you're paying them thousands. They should give you some slack. I need to build up my portfolio because right now all it has is a fluff piece about the Pueblo GSA's Pride concert. You still got a few more days to change, it isn't like you can't do your project and hang out with us at the same time. Daxton looks a tad hangdog. The fuck? Speaking out from beside me. I hope I'm not imposing on y'all's reunion time. I'll see what I can do, and you're fine, Daxton. Thought strikes me that tomorrow is the day Flynn plans to question TJ. I don't think everyone will be in much of a hanging out mood after that. Maybe I should warn him? After yesterday, I don't know if I should give a damn what Flynn wants. But maybe that's too harsh. Maybe I just don't want to think about him right now. I hear the sound of heavy steps on soil, and the wafting sound of cooked meat fills my nose. Glancing up, Leo's standing over me. He holds out a pair of tongs with a plate of bacon and hot dogs. Buns and booze are in the cooler. As if her heart's trying to pick up a small plastic cooler from beside the table. She rips open the packaging and distributes the buns accordingly. Is it just alcohol in there? He just sounds disappointed. I got you some juice pouches, Steve, don't you worry. Yay, thank you. He smiles appreciatively, and Daxton seems to peer curiously at the lip over taking a hot dog for himself. Leo looks a bit reluctant toward Daxton. You guys, eat meat? Daxton's already absolutely covering his hot dog with ketchup. By you guys, you mean salamanders? Leo nods. I finally get a bun into a similar hot dog, wrapping it in bacon. Yep, we eat meat. My grandpa used to say that you should never trust somebody who doesn't. Carl looks up. Except for Carl, he's cool and trustworthy as all hell. Bram tries to force the tofu dog into his maw to hide the big smile from under his muzzle. Jenna looks at them curiously, waiting for TJ to finish placing her relish in his cut-up, bunless hot dog. Carl swallows, speaking up finally. I guess, your grandpa's at least half-wise, dude, man. Daxton shakes his head. Nah, not really. He was a major speciesist and hated Jews. JJ chokes in his juice a little. That's, okay. And Jenna pats his back a few times. Whose grandpas didn't? TJ stares at them furrow-browed and wide-eyed. Mine? Boys. Jenna gives us a look, speaking in that same old maternal tone she's been using since she was 10. I merely shake my head. Leo comes around and sits in the remaining spot at the end of the table. Chase. I look up quickly, finishing my bite of bacon. That is my name. I was gonna ask you earlier. I got my speaker set up. I got my playlist on my phone. Pick us out some music, will ya? He gestures to a pill pod, looking thing with his phone sticking out of it near the grill. Any guidelines? Stay out of the sample music folder. He smirks, but I call back. I rise up my feet and head over the speaker. I pick it up and squint at the phone screen, the overhead sun casting quad glare. I see a few playlists on here. Which one should I pick? Pop, summer, hip hop, and that rock. Not super high quality, but it'll work. That's my cousin's band. Pretty good, yeah? It reminds me of Cherry Bloom, back when they were still in their garbage band days. Let myself smiling a bit. TJ and Cherry Bloom are like Daxter and Adastra. The Lynx pushes himself through his feet. Good choice, Chase. They're okay, I guess. Leo reaches in the cooler and grabs a spare bottle of hard lemonade. He makes his way over and hands one bottle to me and keep one for himself. I give Leo a grateful nod, hitting the bottle top against the edge of the grill to get the cap off. Unfortunately, the top just shatters, spraying shattered glass on the ground. Christ! Leo just laughed, taking a swig of his own drink. Well, I suppose with that little gesture, it's dancing time. Jenna stands up as well. I'm not sure if this is her type of music, but she begins swaying to the beat regardless. Aren't you supposed to do that for a new boat? I'm still eating. Next thing I know, Leo's popping his shoulders up and rolling his arms. Leo used to be great at dancing, but that was when he was 4 inches shorter and 40 pounds thinner. It's kind of giving me dad at a cookout vibe, which is starting to give me a mild midlife crisis by proxy. JJ soon joins in, the Lynx doing some basic shuffles. I look down at my feet. Fuck it. I'm an otter, right? Natural entertainer. I'm not sure if it's exactly safe to drink out of a bottle with a broken top, but might as well try. The cuts in my throat will make the alcohol work quicker, right? Daxton still isn't dancing. He's sort of just standing around and shaking his weight from foot to foot. Out of all the people here, I know him the least. Maybe in this circumstance, that's for the best. Plus, to hell with it, I'll admit it, he's cute in a kind of slimy, geeky way. Maybe I just have a thing for reptiles and amphibians? Jesus, Chase, don't get ahead of yourself. Try to kink my tail and myself, and approach the tall salamander by the grill. He looks at me with a half smile. Hey. Hi. Wanna dance? Daxton quickly looks off to the side and back to me. He leans forward, speaking so only I can hear. Aren't you worried about the evil X? I mean, not evil, not technically your ex. I try to look defensive. Dancing with somebody is not always some sort of romantic action. Oh, sorry. I smile sheepishly. Like I said in the car yesterday, I'm new to parties. This is kind of cool. This is nothing, just to gather a few friends. You should see real parties like the ones in Pueblo. What are the ones back in the smoke room? He lets out a sharp mused breath before taking a drink, smoothly in reaction to my wide-eyed expression. Mike was telling me what it was like back there. I took 2 separate showers when I got home after that. I rubbed the back of my neck to manage a slightly wry smile. How'd it go? Funny. He exhales from his slitted nostrils. Remember, I'd like to talk to you later. But for now, I don't mind dancing with you, Chase. You don't mind? Daxton smirked, shaking his head a bit. We begin to gyrate our arms and legs in a manner that can be loosely interpreted as dancing. I can practically feel Leo's eyes on my back. Carl makes a joke between bites of tofu dogs when I'm not really listening. It feels like just an hour passes. I peel a bit of the wallpaper off above the mantel with my thumb. Without all the furniture, the place looks much older than it actually is. I managed to get in by unlocking the front door with my credit cards. The deadbolt never worked, and I guess my parents didn't fix it after I left town. Everything kind of smells faintly familiar. Just dusty without my mom with burning cinnamon incense seemed to be a constant feature of my childhood. I rest my forearms against the windowsill and let my eyes lull a bit. Holy shit! Utter! Leo smacks his paws on either side of the window, looking up at me from the outside with a pleased expression in his muzzle. Jesus, man! Yeah, no shit, that got me too, what the fuck? I blink. Why are you shirtless? Leo pulls back some, crossing his arms over his chest. He rolls his shoulders as sort of an indirect shrug. It's getting hot, especially with us moving around and grilling. I give him a dubious look. Yeah, you're a hot dog, alright. The Red Wolf responds with a delighted smile. I harumph, trying to change gears a bit. You're not, like, self-conscious or anything? I mean, it isn't like the height of football season for you anymore. I flick my gaze toward his stomach. His demeanor cools, so he keeps smiling as if he's trying not to let that one set in too much. He points up toward my chin. Do you dye that? What? My goatee? Is that what you call it? Yeah. He lets out a little humored grunt. What? Seems like a lot of work for a little scruff of hair, yeah? I frown, pushing back away from the window. Leo seems to stiffen some. Hey, I'm just kidding. You look, you look very good. Seeing you dance and all that takes me back. But you are different. He pushes his tongue inside of his mouth. Leo's eyes dart from side to side as he tries to find the right words. I haven't seen him like this since they were younger. I wonder if his English has been getting worse while I was around. His family really only speaks a native tongue at home, and I imagine it's the same at the shop he works at. Thanks? I'm honestly not trying to respond to that. What am I doing that's so different? I can't explain it. You're just like you used to be, just less. I feel a sinking sensation within my chest. Leo suddenly snaps his fingers. Mellow out, that's it. Listen, Leo, you said you wanted to talk, right? Because of your big point that I'm not a complete spaz anymore, I'm already aware. Leo furrowed his wet, ridged brow. You never were a spaz, and I was getting that. Chase? I spin around and see the familiar salamander standing anxiously behind me. Oh, hi. Hola, scooter boy. Leo leans past me and waves. Hey, got time to talk, Chase? You're kidding. You're kidding. Oh, I'm gonna save for this, because I want to see both. And whichever one is better, that's what I'm doing. So, yeah. There's probably not going to be a better one, but who fucking cares? Whichever one I think is good. Yeah, I'm going to start with Leo. Okay, understood. I suppose I'll let off then. If I don't see you again, it was good meeting you, Chase. I feel a swell of guilt build in my chest. Oh, leaving so soon? Yeah, I gotta take Carl home. I've been watching him out back, and he's just been sitting by himself, not talking to anybody. I can relate. I frown, but not understanding. I hear ya. It was good meeting you too, Lieutenant Daxton. I managed to smile, and he does as well, fortunately. I'm not gonna say I'm beaming out, I'm just gonna lock away now. Of course. See ya. The salamander waves at the both of us, stepping his way to the front door. Let me come around then, yeah. Feels wrong to be looking up at you. Like the natural order of the universe is messed up. Wow. If you say though, am I guessed. Great. Leo quickly pushes himself away from the window, darting off around the house. Here we go. Leo steps into my old living room, his eyes on his phone. I raise an eyebrow toward him. Something up? Pops want me in the shop paint an hour from now. Even though it's my day off. The hell? I guess labor laws don't apply when it's your family? Yeah, fuck it. You know me, I'd choose spending time with you if it meant getting chewed out by both parentals any day. He shoves his phone into his pocket, smiling down at me all the while. He does enjoy that height difference, doesn't he? Something in the back of my mind seems to whisper, not as tall as Flynn, though. Though I quickly shove that thought aside, Leo peers around, touching the fitted green wood paneling that surrounds the room. I remember the first time I was here, back during Halloween of 2000. Your mom invited me over. I didn't speak a bit of English and didn't have no damn costume, but your parents all your friends, so they got ushered in here. Your mom cut up one of your old bed sheets and made me this ghost-looking outfit. Oh, jeez, I remember that. I threw a little tantrum because apparently I liked those sheets. Leo crosses his arms, grinning as he stares at his spot in the corner of the room. My Hispanic ass didn't know what the hell you guys were doing to me. I start snickering some. I thought it was a ritual or something to steal my soul, I don't know. That was right after time I was learning about the devil and shit. It was just bad juju to me, all of it. He makes a little motion of crossing himself. Leo's a complete atheist nowadays, but he still has that whole cultural Catholicism. I swear, my English, I can't speak. That whole Catholicism ingrained in him. Oh my god, I'll need to find some pictures of us from back then sometime. I had the biggest buck teeth, so I wanted to be a rapper. What? I was too young to understand the species' implications of that idea. Leo chuckles hardly, kicking an errant piece of wood out of the way. What did you end up being? I forget. I think I was a knight. Or a wizard. That might have been 2001. Oh man, 2001. Everyone around was a soldier or commando that year because the whole terrorist stuff. And I dressed up as a pizza. Leo laughs, wagging his finger at me and nodding. A pizza. That was the best costume. I could barely move. Kept falling over. I didn't fall over, Chula. I kept getting pushed over by. Leo's cheery demeanor somber, summoning exhales. Remember, we kept pushing over well. We're quiet for a time, Leo wiping some dust off the bottoms of his feet. I'd offer you a seat if the place still had furniture. He was dismissively at the offer before beginning to wring his paws together. It was always really obvious when Leo was tense or nervous growing up. His shoulders would be raised up high and his tail had a slight curve to it. Right now, he looks just like that. Leo? Leo opens his mouth as if to say something, but doesn't. Instead, he just turns, looking back toward that corner. Leo, is everything alright? What happened to you, Chase? The question takes me off guard. I was expecting the worst, but the general nature of it has me confused. What? He turns, looking over his shoulder. Why are you doing this? Did I do something serious like Otter? Tell me now, please. I don't understand. You haven't done anything wrong. Flies burst into Flynn's place and assault him, of course. I'll keep that to myself for now. I know what you're doing, and you know I know what you're doing. I'm not dumb, you know. I know I'm not. Everything that we've had problems with in the past was just miscommunication shit. Nothing I said is as smart as Jen and TJ, or funny as Carl and Flynn. I gotta translate everything in my head. It's just slower. Talking to me is hard, yeah, I get that. Just fucking try for me, please. Honest like, too. He looks at me, his chest rising and falling with some quickened pace. I slowly step to the side, rushing my back against the wall and sliding down to a sitting position. I sit crisscrossed and stare at the gap between my legs. You're not hard to talk with, I am. Chase, just say it. Without thinking, I do. I had sex with Flynn. And so have you. I hear Leo take a step forward, then stop. He told you? Yeah, to get me mad. We're not in the best of terms right now, Leo. It was after you left for college, I swear on my neck. Silence falls with Tina's. Feels like Leo is practically leering over me, but I can't muster the courage to look up. Have you had others? Yes, but nothing ever felt the same as... You know, I'm not like Flynn. I can't go to that place that's out of town and just let loose. You know, I tried that and felt so wrong and fucked up. It's not the same. What's the point of doing that shit if it's not with your love, you know? Oh my god, shut up. And I'm not talking about the whole cultural religious murder where you gotta marry and all that. Because I know how Flynn ticks and I know how I tick. It's completely different, yeah. I hear the floorboards creep beneath his feet, Wolf shifting his weight from foot to foot. I just thought you were like me in that sort of way. For Flynn, this is nothing. This is just another notch on the wall. Cross my arms over my chest tightly, feeling cold sweat on my neck. You show up for the first time in years, and it's like you don't want nothing to do with me. I get it, you know, I'm good at sports stuff and car stuff and none of the shit. And none of you gave a shit about any of that, and that was fine. Just roll your eyes at Leo. I just like how my friends around, all of them. But especially you. Pause. You are like family. Hell, you can't just flip a switch and stop being family growing up with the shit we dealt with. Leo, you've got your real family. And you know what they always ask about? You. Well, you've got Flynn and Carl still. You know how Flynn is. Carl is not doing too hot. I don't know how long he'll last. Long he'll last? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know, Otter. Just look at him sometime. Really look at him in his hole. Leo trails off into a long sigh. You all left was never the same. So I pretend. I remember all the stuff you used to say, even the naggy bits. I imagine you're there with me at work, talking to me while I'm fixing cars. I pretend I'm teaching you about the basics, like changing oil or replacing headlights. I know it's not riveting stuff, but it's all good because you love me and I love you too. Then I drive home with whatever is on the radio, and I imagine you reacting to it. Growing every time the word truck is mentioned in a country song or making some snide-ass remark at the political ads. When I get home, I go in line, and like there's this pulling in my chest. Like a dread, you know. I click on the social media shit and it's you. The real you. And you're different. You're wearing new shirts, hanging with new friends, drinking fancy college beers, and it feels like I'm losing you all over again. So I just avoid it. I pretend. I pretend that we're drinking together on the patio as the sun goes down. I pretend that you're watching me play my games. And I pretend at night that pillow got my arms wrapped around as you, making a little irk noise you do when I ruffle your head for her to squeeze you. Leo chuckles bittersweetly. The gravity of his words seeming to take hold now that he's actually said them out loud. Jesus, Leo. A week ago you showed up outside my window. The sky was red. You said, hey. Leo, what are you talking about? Why were you there, Chase? His tone is strange, almost without inflection. Leo, I don't know what you mean. I wasn't there last week. Next thing you know, he's stepping closer toward me. He stops, then lowers himself to a sitting position against the wall. The wolf's arms stretch around my torso and pull me against his side. Look, I don't like him, but even I can tell when... No, this'll just fit. No. Good grief. I really don't know. Okay, I don't. Cause like I understand he needs comfort, but at the same time, hugging him probably just gonna feed back into the loop of him obsessing over Chase. So something's really wrong with Leo. As different as he says I am, something is truly different with him. I keep my paws in my lap. He puts more weight on me and I have to prop myself up to keep from falling over. He's so heavy now. I hear him clearing his throat. Things aren't great here, Chula. I was trying to act like they were, but you know now. I just know if you were here I could protect you and things would be better. Leo, that might not be true and I don't need protecting. Leo says nothing. 2 minutes pass. I can hear TJ talking excited about something out in the backyard, with Jenna chiming in occasionally. Finally, Leo pulls back. He looks at me as if I'm about to ask a question, but seemingly decides he doesn't want to know the answer. So... this is pretty something, yeah? I rub my paw against my forehead. Not as pretty something as your fake me pillow you sleep with at night. I expect Leo to laugh at that, but he just peers me with a sort of melancholy smile. Yeah. He pushes himself to his feet, dusting off the back of his pants. Let me know if you need help with the project or anything. I'll be around. Okay, but hey. Still perks up some, the wolf turning to look down at me. You should see somebody. I mean, about what you just told me. It never worked for you, Otter. I sigh. Yeah, but it could for you. Leo shrugs. Maybe. I'll see you later. Okay, so now I'm going to save this and put it in a safe spot here so that I can get back to it if I want to go back there. And we're going to go back. No. Don't rewrite. Now we're going to load. And here. Yes. Okay, so now it's time for the Daxton talk because I want to do both. Sure. Great, thank you. Chase. When I turn back, Leo's smile has grown more tight, though he tries to play off his reaction. Chase, I've been to talk to you about some things. I just knit. Leo lets out a long breath of air, checking his phone. Fucking Pops, man. Doesn't care whether or not it's my day off. Family helps family. Leo mumbles a few inaudible swears in his native lingo before looking up at the two of us. He seems to think for a moment. I'll see you guys later. Chase, we're gonna talk. Right. I give him an awkward thumbs up. He nods, turning and making his way offward. Daxton pushed the tips of his fingers together, trepidation upon his face despite his initial request. I'd offer you a seat if this house still had furniture. He lifted a small puff of air, looking around, seeming to acknowledge his environment for the first time. Carl told me you grew up here. Yeah. Place isn't as old as it looks, by the way. I think my uncle just really dug the whole prairie aesthetic. Yeah, I'm admittedly a wee bit done with that theme at this point. Growing up in Colville, no surprise there. It's like, try to find the right word, a facade of a town. Daxton nods slightly, not about to retest that. He turns, walking past the door into the foyer. Indoor windows, though. Whose idea was that? What? I follow him. Daxton points to the teak-bordered windows. Surprisingly, none of the glass has been shattered yet. Oh, well, obviously not mine. My parents enclosed part of the porch when I was like 10. They left the windows, though. Daxton nods as he paces about the room, the floorboards creaking beneath his unpadded feet. And careful where you walk. I wouldn't doubt junkies shoot up in here. That stops his salamander, the blue-eyed fellow, shifting his gaze back to me. All right, good idea, that. He sniffs. So, I lean against the back wall after a cursory glance, making sure it's spider-free. Daxton says nothing. In fact, he just keeps looking at me. A sense of unease begins to tingle down my spine, reminded of last night. The way Daxton looked at me in the car as we drove home. He didn't say much that whole ride, thankfully. I had a dream last night. Can I tell you about it? I feel a mixture of relief and awkwardness. Sure? Daxton's mouth pulls open to one side, his face contorting into a sort of sheepish half-smile. My god, fucking Kevin MacLeod music in the background. Well, it wasn't truly like a dream or nothing of the sort I'm familiar with. Dreams are the sorting and categorizing of happenings of the day by the subconscious of the mind. You know how they are, where the sky never quite looks day or night, always some sort of violet or reddish dusky setting. You always have some limited control of what environs surround you. Again, mainly on the subconscious level. Yeah, that's interesting, because every dream I can remember, like every time I wake up I can remember from it, it's weird. It's not day or night, but like the light is so weird, you know, it's hard to explain, man. In the dream, if you're worried, you'll have a right to be worried, like a self-fulfilling prophecy or what have you. Fearing that a bad thing might happen to a loved one, a bad thing will happen to a loved one. Afraid that something scary might be in the room, then something scary is in the room. Yeah, I know that shit. I know that shit so well. I once had a sleep paralysis episode where it was my first one ever. And I woke up into the episode and I was like, oh, is this a sleep paralysis thing? Huh. And like nothing was happening. And then I thought, isn't this supposed to be scary? And then the scary happened. It's really interesting that. It's like your brain gives you what you want. I look around briefly. He gesticulates in a swirling motion to get my attention, shifting to digress. It's why the stressed, the traumatic, and the guilty get night terrors more than anyone else. Daxton lets his hands fall to his hips, his eyes trailing downward to the dusty boards beneath my feet. Lately, I've been getting a lot of bad dreams, but ones that don't seem to, I don't know, I suppose align with me. I'm doing things that I've never done in places I've never been, and that sense of subconscious agency is entirely absent. Like I'm out in the pines and holding this rifle. Daxton. He looks up. No offense, but where is this going? Daxton's posture seems to go a little more rigid, the salamander's nostrils flaring as he exhales. I'm beginning to think that Daxton is a lot weirder than I initially thought. Okay, I'm getting to it. Last night after you dropped me off, I fell asleep in the recliner in the living room. Shortly after, it felt like I woke up, but I wasn't in the house anymore. I was in some school computer lab I didn't recognize. You were there, except it wasn't you. He clears his throat. It was a different you, younger, louder. Carl and Flynn were kind of standing behind you too, but they weren't saying anything. Sometimes I'd blink my eyes and they were there, and sometimes they weren't. I think were words coming out of your mouth, but I couldn't make anything out. It was like a waterfall was rushing behind me.
I started to hate you. I couldn't believe I had hung out with you voluntarily. Like, the sight of you made my stomach hurt. I blink, frowning some before my mouth to speak. However, Daxton cuts me off, continuing on. There was something in the computer screen next to you that you kept showing over and over again. It was this other otter sitting in this bedroom with a big sports poster on the wall. Other otter. And he was crying, staring at something in the corner of the room. Oh. No, Sydney, no. Again, you were just playing this same scene over and over again. Yeah, eventually you just deleted it outright, and that made me mighty perturbed for whatever reason. I wanted to hit you, so I did. Daxton sees the deepening frown on my face, and he smiles very slightly. He quickly goes back to his more serious expression. It was like I teleported across to you. The next thing I knew, I had grabbed and hit you, but your body had the consistency of loamy sand. You were crumpling and dissolving every time I touched you. Your fur turned gray and speckled, and your face didn't look like you anymore. Oh no. Why does that sound familiar? Everyone else started grabbing me. I recognized Carl's arms, but there were a bunch of others. Even you somehow to hold on me. No Flynn, though. Hell, I couldn't even see him anymore. Oh. So wait, they pranked Sydney, and then they recorded it somehow, and Chase was showing it off, and then Flynn attacked him? Is that something that happened? What? I remember calling for him, hoping he was back from that bar. The next thing I know, I'm on a beach. I'm just standing there, watching the tide look at the sand beneath my feet. Then there's this... Daxton pauses, crossing his arms over his chest. He moves across the room to lean against the wall beside me, staring ahead. Well, it's just... I don't know what it was. I'm thinking it was a face, but it could have been a weird-ass rock. Oh, that happens to Chase too in TJ's route. What the fuck? But it's in the mountains. He's hiking with TJ. Kind of reminded me of an electrical outlet. Oh no. Everything just went dark, and I was staring at the rock face, which was staring at me in turn. I was just stuck there in real time, staring at it for, I guess, around 20 minutes. Then it faded away. Jesus. After that, I was at this sort of fort-looking place. Lots of old-timey looking folk around with this trumpet guy emblem everywhere. I kept asking people around where I was, but they'd always just sort of shuffle away. I followed this one fox lady with a big old blouse and around a corner, and suddenly I was an echo again. The sky was wrong, but it was echo. I walked into my house and saw myself in the kitchen. Flynn, Carl, and you were there too. Dasha was on the TV. There was this uneasiness in the air because I was pissed about the whole computer lab thing. I wanted to yell at you about it, grabbing Carl for grabbing me, Flynn for abandoning me, and the other me for not being the real me. The salamander rubs his smooth forehead some and seems to realize something. You didn't have a goatee either, which I thought was funny at the time. I remember saying, I guess someone shaved off your goatee after all. I reached out, pinching the excess scruff hanging below my chin, still there. You just seemed confused about that. I'm confused about that now. Well, hold on. Flynn, Carl, and the other me just vanished at that point. I asked you where they went, and you told me they went outside to, and I quote, jerk each other off. Wow. You've, only known Carl a day. That's a bit forward. Be quiet. You were completely different than the one from the computer lab. Older, for sure. We sat down, drank beer, and reminisced about things I don't remember. I stopped feeling so uneasy and scared. It's like you melted away all the weird bad shit that happened prior. It became nighttime, and then you said you were sorry. I asked you why you were sorry, and you hugged me. It was... Salamander pressed his thumbs together, avoiding looking at me now. The realest thing I've ever felt in a dream. I could feel your heartbeat, the bristle of your fur, the fabric of your shirt, everything. He touches his own chest and slowly curls his hand to his fist before letting it fall back at his side. You told me that to forgive someone is to release a prisoner, and discover that the prisoner was you. You let go of me and began fiddling with something. I heard Flynn laughing, and turned around to see him walking through the door. Out of the corner of my eye, you began taking a bracelet off of your wrist. You held it up in front of your face and... Bracelet? Daxton shifts. Yeah. Did it have a little metal anchor attached to it? I don't know, I couldn't really see because, well, Flynn was there and it wasn't a dream anymore. What? He had just gotten home from the bar, didn't say 2 words to me, and beelined to his room. There was no bracelet, of course, because I was wide frickin' awake. I'm guessing the laugh wasn't real either. It never felt like I was asleep in the first place, actually. But I'm left with the feeling of it. I'm left with the feelings of it all, like... Haven't you ever had a dream about somebody and felt completely different about them afterwards? I don't mean just like weird puberty sex dreams about your cousins or something like that. I furrowed my brow some. Yeah, I guess. So the former... Are you saying that you feel that way about me now? I guess, hence why I'm talking to you. I go quiet for a second. I'm still not sure how to feel. Huh. I don't really know what to make of it, Daxton. I'm not really the eclectic spiritual sort. Me neither, that's the thing. I mean, I own a Dreamcatcher and a couple of New Age albums, but who doesn't? I raise my paw. Daxton looks at me, slightly rolling his eyes. Didn't you say yesterday you had something similar happen to you, though, when you passed out here at our place? I pause and nod. Must have been the fishy cheese bread we ate. You thought it had a fishy taste too, right? I told Flynn not to put his catches in the damn freezer on top of the other food. Daxton sighs. I don't know, Chase. Talking to you about it seemed like a better idea in my mind. I shake my head, waving my paw to the side. No, it's fine, really. I'm glad that I'm not the only one dealing with this sort of stuff for once. Daxton perks, slightly looking me over. For once? Damn, I shouldn't have said anything. I hate trying to explain this. I drift my gaze to the cracked ceiling, staring at the hole where a brass chandelier once hung. I try to put on a nonchalant tone. I have mental problems or something. Out of the corner of my eye, I can see Daxton cock his head toward me. Smooth. Like sleep paralysis, lucid nightmares, that sort of thing. Sometimes I don't have any problems with them, but as of late, I don't know. I try not to think about it too much, otherwise I get all insomniatic. Man, that sucks. They all know about it. I gesture toward the backyard. I can still faintly hear TJ chatting excitedly about something, Shen and chiming in every now and then. At first, everyone thought I was making it out to be special. When did you start getting them? I don't know, around my tween years. So, Sydney, okay. I used to get really bad nightmares around then. I watched some clown TV movie and it traumatized my effed ass. Effed? Daxton looks over toward me, seeming to realize the need for clarification. Tadpole. Oh, cute. Daxton sputters out a dismissive noise. I was not cute. Well, neither was I. I was kind of a shithead. Daxton peers at me a moment before his gaze trails upward toward the brown fur on my scalp. Takes me a second to register. I mean, regarding how I treat other people. Gotcha. I reach up, trying to make my head furtively flatter. Daxton, meanwhile, reaches into his pocket and checks his phone. Neither of us says anything for a while. I'm gonna head out, but thank you for listening and such. Oh, yeah, no problem, man. You gonna go and do some riding? I think I might. Either that or put in some new age music. I'm sure Flynn loves that. What sort of music does Flynn like? I don't think he does. What? I don't think he listens to music, like, in general. Who doesn't like music? I shrug. Someone like Flynn, I guess. Makes sense to me. He shoves his phone back in his pocket, stepping forward. Hey, since chances are I probably won't see you again, I just want to say it was a good meeting you. I found myself smiling in spite of the previous tone of the conversation. Likewise. Thanks for introducing me to Carl. Never had a rich friend before. You lived in Colville. Have you never had a rich friend? Hey, I didn't live in the ritzy tourist pack part of it. Plus, I was homeschooled.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Shithead.
He grins so I can see the pink of the inside of his mouth. It's quite the contrast from the rest of him.
I feel a bit better now. See you, Chase.
Alright, so Flynn prophecy, here it comes.
Here, what Ugh.
I move to embrace him with a little bit more velocity than I initially intended, nearly sending the tall amphibian back against the wall. He lets out a bemused noise, patting my back. I return the gesture before pulling away.
You're almost as graceful as a dancer as you are. Almost as graceful a dancer as you are a hugger. Now, time to find Carl.
Okay, I don't know which one to do. I mean, I like Daxton more than I like Leo, so I guess I should do his. I should do this one because I don't know. I'll just save the Leo one, and we can go back to it eventually, you know? With that, he turns and heads out toward the backyard. Looking around, I don't see any sign of Leo. In fact, his van's no longer out front. I'll reach into my pocket, feel my phone, as a guilty sensation takes hold. I just know I'm probably going to get a whole nother wave of passive-aggressive text messages that I don't want to deal with. At this point, I probably deserve them. I can't keep doubting him like this. I notice something odd sitting on top of the water heater. Curious, I pick it up. Oh. I never knew Mom framed this. I mean, it was just a shitty selfie I took my first day at Pueblo. She kept insisting I send her a picture of myself on my big day. For some reason, I thought not smiling or looking at the camera was the cool thing to do. I wonder if they forgot this during the move? Well, it kinda sucks. I wouldn't be surprised if they left it on purpose. I haven't talked to them much lately. I should go. I step outside. The air is still kind of hazy and the smell of hot dogs is pretty palpable. I look over across the yard. TJ and Jen are sitting at the table. TJ's munching down his third helping of cut-up hot dogs while Jenna sits on top with her feet hanging off the side. It's kind of funny how small she is, like she never grew up past age 13. She's a fennec fox, dude. My mind drifts back to their fennecs in the smoke room. They all had that youthful appearance to them. I wonder if that's part of the appeal. I'm surprised you were so comfortable walking around in there. I glance over my shoulder looking back at the weather-worn house. Why?
The spiders.
You are still afraid of them, right? I have been trying not to think about that the whole time, actually. It felt like there were lots of them in the house, even when I lived in there, and that was with my parents bug-bombing the place every month. I resist the urge to reach down and rub my feet in case there were any walking around my fur. Not like deathly. Not deathly, yeah, right. I cross my arms over my chest, tugging some at the figure of my shirt. Right, of course. JJ snickers some. Jenna pulls out her phone, beginning to tap away at the digital keypad. By the way, we found something else that might help you with your project. Oh? It's my purse. Could you grab it? Sure, what is it? Jenna doesn't answer, continuing her texting. TJ, meanwhile, seems to be grinning at his empty, ketchup-covered plate. Jenna? I move over to the purse, unbuttoning the main flap. I've always been a bit wary about going through a girl's purses for obvious reasons. The first thing I noticed, though, is a piece of folded paper with Chase written in all capital letters on top. It looks like there's something wedged inside of it as well. Curiously, I pull back the top paper and feel something fuzzy against my paw pad and a bristling sensation. Thin, prodding things tickle the tip of my fingers. I squeeze one and yank it up. Dangling before me is an orange and black tarantula, its limbs bouncing from the sudden pull of force. Jesus fuck! I toss it down to the dirt, seeming to bounce right back up and land sideways on my foot. I scramble back, kicking out with as much force as I can muster. Shit! My chest heaves and I feel like my heart is about to burst from my chest. The tarantula doesn't move, and that's when I realize TJ and Jen are grinning at me. Jenna has her phone pointed in my direction.
She's filming this? Language, it's just rubber, Chase. That...
I point at the limp 8-legged thing that's now 3 yards away, stuck in a patch of goat-head brambles.
That is not funny.
It is, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chase. It was Jenna's idea. It was 99 cents at that gas station we stopped at back in Two Canyons. Ugh, no wonder you two wouldn't let me see what you bought.
Did you guys actually have anything for me? I mean, regarding my project? Dee begins to look even more guilty. Jenna sets her phone down and goes about reclasping her purse. Not really, Chase. As you said, there wasn't much information about the 1877 happening. Most search results directed us toward dubious ghost hunting websites with no source veracity that could be utilized in formal reports. Well, I sigh, still on my swaying tail, feeling calm once again. Was there anything that could be useful, that could be used in a non-formal report? The defendant cocks her head back, her eyes seeming to look through me as she thinks before meeting my gaze once again. What do you want to know more about? UFO spotted over Echo Camp by a group of night hikers? The Meseta ghostman who wanders along the edge of the res, secluding men before impaling them in the branches of mesquite trees? Heh, sounds like a fucking shrike. Or perhaps the Mothman, who now apparently has been seen driving a semi-truck in Route 93 at midnight.
Maybe need a side job. The economy has been real tough lately.
I let out an exasperated noise.
Okay, I get your point.
Although there were lots of mentions of the riots here. That includes happenings in 1915, as well as some other unsourced stuff about violence after World War II. Just a general perception that we were all a bunch of desert malcontents living in some sort of Sodom and Gomorrah style situation for a century.
Sounds about right.
We even had a famous brothel that served all the miners in the area.
A brothel?
I look at TJ, who was frowning acknowledgingly. Does he really not know? It's a place where they make broth and other types of soup.
I know what a brothel is.
Jenna merely smirks and shakes her head. It was called the smoke room. Wait, what? I tense up and they seem to notice.
Chase, is something wrong?
The smoke room.
Yeah?
That still exists. I was there last night.
You went to a brothel last night?
Jenna says this list is a question more as a deadpan matter of fact.
What?
No, it was this bar that Flynn went to. It's right north of the reservation. There's no sign for it or anything. It's like some sort of gay bar. A gay bar in this county? At least that's what it seemed like it was. I shrugged, trying to phrase this as carefully as I can without going too much into details. Everything smelled like cigarettes, and there was this really shady back room that they called the smoke room. That's... Jenna presses her knuckle to her lower lips, seemingly in thought. She glances up toward me after a moment. Interesting? With that look, I regret bringing it up already. Jenna seemed to be maintaining this sort of intrigued expression and began bracing for any follow-up questions.
What sort of music do they play there?
Surprisingly, TJ is the first to speak. I don't see any sign of judgment in his face either, just genuine curiosity. It was kind of weird, actually. It was this sort of droning, bassy synth stuff.
Really?
Yeah, never heard anything like it. It was kind of loud, too. I'm not too sure why you're asking. It's TJ's turn to shrug.
I'm just curious.
So, you went to a gay bar with Flynn named after an old famous brothel. I exhale, rested my paws on the edge of the table. It's not like that. Like what? Daxton, Carl, and I followed him after he left us in the middle of hanging out last night. But he's sort of, I think he was trying to invite me to go along with him in his own sort of way. He left his phone behind with just one text message on it with the address. I think he wanted to see if I was interested enough to snoop through his phone instead of outright inviting me. It's hard to explain. Oh no, I understand completely. That sounds quite like Flynn. Very non-committal and giving himself something that he can hold against you, if need to protect himself from having any semblance of vulnerability. Shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch. Jenna rubs the bridge of her small nose, still seemingly frustrated with Flynn's behavior. She reaches down, picking a paper plate from beside her and shoving it into a plastic bag. I'm ready to head back to the motel. Chase, are you coming? Oh, sure. Jay begins cleaning up as well, moving to drag the picnic table back into the appropriate yard. I help. I sit cross-legged on the edge of the bed with a notebook in my lap. I'm sort of half planning out my script and half kicking myself for not doing a lot of this preliminary stuff earlier. I'm also kicking myself for not getting any scans of the photos and documents I found at City Hall. The B-roll I've got doesn't quite cut it. Having actual historical papers with pictures of Echo inhabitants that aren't available online might look good for my portfolio. At least that's what Jenna said. I kinda doubt they're open on Saturday, so I'd have to talk to Flynn. And Flynn still wants me to assist him with this whole interrogation he has planned. Or at least stay out of the way. For now, I just want to focus on my project. Currently, Jen is tapping away at her laptop on her side of the room, although she seems more distracted than she was at the beginning of this trip. TJ's had the TV on to some behind-the-album rock music history show. He's pretty engrossed in from the looks of it. He lays beside me, his back propped up by the pillows. After a few more scribblings or my outro, I toss this on my notebook and slink on over to the other side of the room. I take a few packets of the candy egg oatmeal we've got about 20 of and empty them into one of the complimentary styrofoam bowls on the table. I know it's for kids, but I've always kind of liked this stuff. I'm a sucker for anything that's bland as hell with the tiny bit of sweet add-ins, like oat bran cereal with dehydrated marshmallow bits. Well, oatmeal really isn't that bland if you add sugar and, like, butter to it, but okay. I fill the bowl with water about a centimeter higher than the top of the oatmeal. A little bit of maple cinnamon dust rises out from the mixture. Hopefully this pack isn't too old. I didn't check the expiration date before grabbing it from my dorm room. I'll bring the mixture to the microwave and set it for 1 minute. On the TV, some raccoon is talking about how their music video went viral back in 2006, and how the fame went to his bandmate's head. It's weird to think that 2006 was nearly 10 years ago at this point. Oh, it's more than that, dude. It's like, ugh, ew, I hate that, ew. I remember watching shows like it with my mom as a kid, and they were always about hair metal bands from the 80s and 90s. Each episode was full of grainy old pack film photographs of the alleged happier days of the Focus superstar. It has me think about how much stuff like that there is from my childhood. There's nearly a gig of videos on my old laptop, ranging from home videos, machinima, to class project I did with the group. Plus, all my social media posts are still there. It's not like those days were faded memories in a sepia-tinted photo roll picture. They're right there in full 1020 by 768 aspect ratio a few clicks away. Maybe that's why I don't think about Echo, which is much nostalgia, someone like TJ or, well, Leo for sure. Speaking of, I checked my phone a little while ago. He hasn't texted me. The microwave beeps when I take the oatmeal out. The directions say to leave it in for 2 to 2.5 minutes, but that always seems like overkill. I like it a bit soupy. I'm gonna take a shower. Do you guys want anything? I blink. What? He stares blankly at us. Do we want anything from the shower? Jenna, after a couple seconds, looks up from her laptop at the links. TJ? It looks as if he's come to some realization, then quickly covers his face with his paw. Forget I said that second part. I shift awkwardly, bowl of oatmeal and paw. I didn't get much sleep last night. Jenna sighs. It's okay, neither did I. I didn't wake you guys when I got in, did I? No, we were already pretty much awake. That man shouting in the parking lot was making me uneasy. I didn't hear any of that. Jenna lowers the top of her laptop some, they're not closing all the way. It started a little before midnight. You hadn't arrived yet. It sounded like he was walking around the motel, even screaming at our window. Was he yelling anything specific? No, he was just shouting. I heard a few words here and there, but never like any full sentences or anything. He just sounded really, really mad or sad. DJ pauses, looking at the bowl I'm holding. Or scared, I don't know. Part of me kind of wanted to call Leo. I can't help but smile a little at that. Really? Wow. I didn't actually. Leo the Protector. I can't believe after all this time, TJ still sees Leo that way. I called the police. They said they'd send a patrol car, but I never saw one show up. He eventually just left. A little before you showed up, actually. It feels like everyone's on drugs in this town now. Now? Jenna retorts, slouch, looking at it with a raised brow. Well, I mean, it wasn't always this strange, was it?
Even back growing up, I'd still wager that at least a third of the population was on heroin or worse, because of the territory. But I will say, I do somewhat agree with you. I could have depopulated by around 100 people since I was born. That in itself is the other 2/3 of the population. Those that remained didn't have that same level of general township community that we once had, what little that was. DJ nods, rubbing his wrist and looking toward the draped-colored window facing the parking lot. I remember when we used to have our own grocery store. Oh, speaking of, I ate at the diner after the hike yesterday. Julian works there now as a busboy, you remember him, right? I think for a moment. Was he the green reptile kid who peed himself in AP Lit? JJ looks a little aghast. What? No. Then I don't know him. That was Cody. Wait, the Cody you dated? Jenna makes a slight, disgusted noise, shaking her head. You're thinking of upstate Cody. I never got to meet him. Yes, well... Jenna lets out a little puff of air, pushing up her laptop screen and typing something. Neither did I. She stops for a moment, turning to look at me. May I have some of that? My oatmeal? Oh, sure. I entered the still warm styrofoam bowl with a spoon. Damn it, I wanted that. And of course, she's digging out all the sugar dinosaur eggs first. Right, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Julian was telling us that the diner will probably end up closing down at the end of this year. Maybe next if they're lucky. That's like the last business in town besides the motel. Last legitimate business, you mean? I see Jenna nod before taking another bite of my oatmeal. It's no wonder then that the people act weird. Even Leo, Carl, and definitely Flynn are different. Did you guys see Janice again after what happened on the road? Peter nods uneasily. Link's beginning to busy himself gathering up a fresh set of clothes. I asked her if she was okay or needed any help, and she said she was fine, great even. But she looked really bad. She just picks up some red pajama pants that have faded little Christmas ornament symbols stitched in around the bottoms and pine tree decals on the waist. He also, a bit more discreetly, grabs a pair of bright white underwear and quickly hides them in the folds of the pants. I wonder if he's matching the two intentionally. I don't mean like ugly, I mean she was kind of grimy and smelled like raw meat. She was definitely on something, TJ. I hope not. TJ turned, shuffling himself into the bathroom. The door shuts. You know... Jenna sits up some. I think it was Clint. Jenna's speaking to me, but her eyes are on her laptop. Huh? The man outside that was screaming. At first I thought he had Jeremy with him, and God, just the thought of that makes me want to get out of this town and not look back. I don't blame you, but Clint? Judged from popular television growing up, it seems like everyone alive has had a childhood bully. Some with multiple. We had Clint and his little gang of assholes. Jeremy, Micah, hell, even sometimes Heather. The thing is, in a town of 50 people, escaping your bullies is near impossible. They're everywhere. They hate you, they hurt you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, until Leo did something about it. I still remember the squelching noises Clint made as Leo hit him over and over again outside his own trailer. Leo didn't speak any English, and they were all a couple of years older than us, but that didn't stop him. I don't know how things would have turned out if he never moved here. The voice, it has a certain cadence to it that reminded me of him. I resigned myself to the notion that Jenna has eaten all my oatmeal at this point. Moving over the microwave, I grab another styrofoam bowl and a couple more packets. I can already tell there's not going to be enough left to be really satisfying. I'm assuming you haven't gone to see Jeremy and the rest of the family either, then. No, and I doubt I will. By the way, how are you doing? I look over my shoulder. She seems to be deciding on a font, whatever she's typing away at. Catching my glance, she meets my gaze for just a moment. And I don't just mean in general. Any sleep issues? And of course, she changes the topic just like that. Sleep issues, as she calls them, for my sake. I pour some water on the oatmeal. No paralysis, just sort of strange, really lucid dreams. I think my subconscious wants me to shave off my goatee. This may be the one time you should listen to the voices in your head. I make a growling noise that comes out a lot less intimate than I intended. Jen doesn't look up. What are the dreams like? I let out a long exhale, placing the oatmeal in the microwave. I don't know, I think I'm just tired and mixing badly with my current mental state. I've been kind of crawling on my skin since I got here. I saw a face behind someone's shoulder that wasn't really there last night. It wasn't something I thought about much at the time. I was already upset, but the more I dwell on it, I don't know. I shrug, waving dismissively as I take my bowl. When I look at Jenna again, I can see the fur in her neck is lifted a little. It's probably just the angle, though. You alright? Jenna looks back at me, and I can tell she's debating whether or not to tell me something. I wait. Just made me think about when I was a kid. Hadn't thought about it for years, actually. I pause. Do you want to talk about it? I'm worried that I'm about to open up a can of worms. It wasn't traumatizing or anything like that. Well, it was actually, but it wasn't real. Did you see a face? Yeah, it was a reddish color. Flat, too. Whoa. Yeah, it had a body as well. But I can't really remember exactly what it was like. Did you dream it? No, not really a dream. At least not in the sense that I was asleep when it happened. I just see it walking around in broad daylight sometimes. What the hell? Are these like real solid memories? Like it really happened? I don't know. It usually happened when I was sad or angry or when Dad was having one of his moments. You mentioned that you saw something while you were upset and reminded me of it. I just see it walk past the doorway or sit in the closet. Really? What the fuck? This was a long time ago, like when I was 5. I don't you think I'm crazy, Chase? I don't. I saw things too as a kid. I mean, more things. Yeah, I think you've told me. I had, and it's something I really don't want to think about right now. I'm pretty sure it's just something my mind made up because I was under a lot of stress. The brain can make it whatever it wants, really. Oh, I hate that, man. I hate that. Just the image. Just the image of that thing. Walking past a doorway. Ugh, no. It's part of the reason I went into the field that I did. I want to help figure these things out. Do you see it anymore? At all? She's quiet for a while, then shakes her head. No. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, 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 fuck you. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm fucking done. Holy shit, guys. I'm sorry, but that detail... I don't know why that's what's gotten me so creeped out. Like, you're kidding, right? Like, I'm creeped out by the image of that thing walking past the doorway. Okay, let me try and rationalize this. Like, she's 5, right? So, like, I guess, like, I don't know. But leave it at any age, you know? Like, when you're really stressed out and your emotions are in overdrive and you just don't think straight, like, but, like, a flat face. This route, man. Thing is, like, I've actually, me myself, when I was younger, I used to see things myself. Nothing as bad as that, obviously, but, like, I would be, like, just in bed, you know, and I would open my eyes, I'd just wake up suddenly, and I would, like, see this, like, I would see weird things, you know, like, those weird after images you have after you wake up from a dream and you're young, and you can't, like, your brain is still, like, developing, and you can't really, like, you know, decide what's real and what's not. Like, that still is something that happens when you're, like, an adult. You have those dreams and you wake up. For, like, a split second, the dream seems more real than reality. But, like, when you're a kid, when you're young, you still aren't really able to separate fantasy from reality as easily. And, like, I don't know, man. The image of, like, the socket face thing just moving past the doorway, for some reason it just reaches deep down into some primal part of me that just screams, get the fuck away. Like, you know? And, I remember there was like there's this one video I remember seeing. I was just on YouTube and I found it by accident, and like it was just like really it was like American football. The title was like that meme is the music and everything, but like it was like this video of like a room, and this black creature came out of a doorway and like ran toward the camera, and like for some reason that's the image I see in my mind when I think of this thing moving, like on all fours, like loping around, like ugh, God, I kind of don't want to stop talking now because like I'm genuinely creeped out. What the fuck? Bye.